Hi, I'm Therese Swenson, and I'm here at the Siskiyou Media Council. We're in Weed. We're on South Weed Boulevard, and we're by the back entrance of the college, if you know your way up to the college. And there's a ATM kiosk outside you might recognize as you drive by. But I'd like to invite you to get involved. You could get involved in public access to some degree, whether you show us great pictures or take us on a journey you've taken, or just if you want to share something, I'd love to have you join us here, Siskiyou Media Council. You can find us on the web and find out how to submit videos that you might have created. You can find us on Facebook now. I understand some of our current shows are on Facebook. I think if you want to watch a city council meeting or a planning meeting or some of the different commissions, like we have an airport commission down in Dunsmuir, those meetings are recorded and put on. So we don't really have a schedule right now to show you how to find it, but I'm sure we're going to come up with a way to show when the meetings are on. I think they record them live and then show them. So if there's something you're interested in that's happening in your town, you can find those on the web, Siskiyou Media Council, because it will show the different meetings and you can see them in timely fashion. Also, we're on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and you type in Siskiyou Media Council, you will see the shows that are being recorded in this studio. Now I have 2 cameras, maybe 3, but I have a green screen behind me. Can we flitch and show the green screen just so they see that I'm really just sitting in front of a green fabric? And that way they understand what this kind of stage set. You can pick many different virtual. See, I'm just sitting in a green room. And so you could do something where, let's say you taught yoga. You could make it look like you're on a beach or in a meadow. So I just want to remind you that there's a way to use this. What's that called? A virtual reality? What is this called? The green screen. So I can show you, sometimes I can, in my show that I do up in Ashland in the Southern Oregon University has a TV station, Rogue Valley Television, rvtv.sou.edu. And you can see on Rogue Valley Television, I have some old shows, they were called Tough Times. Mostly I worked with the students each month, and I would do a production where I would include the students to be involved. So sometimes there's mistakes on timing or music or cameras. And I don't mind because they were all learning how to use the studio. And we will help you learn how to use the studio. You don't have to be a host. You could actually be somebody that writes script and have somebody else read it or take pictures and put a story with it. I just want to encourage you now that people are home. Oh, here we're talking about being homebound. Because we really do, the new normal really is going to have us wearing masks for quite a long time. We're going to have to be covered up and staying home and distancing. So we need to think of ways that we can use this time. And if you took an old trip and you have a bunch of photographs and there's a way that you can record those, I want to encourage you to put them on and turn them in. So wearing masks can be glamorous and match your outfit, or they can just be practical. Lately, I showed you my mask that I've been wearing. If I go into a big store where a lot of people have been walking through, I've actually been wearing 2 because I want to make sure that I'm not picking up anything that might have been expelled. Also, I had really good luck washing my masks. I bring them home and throw them in the wash. And the other day, I was doing a shop for paper products, and you can wear gloves when you go in the store and take them off and throw them in the wash. And I put this mask inside one of the gloves and I washed it, and it actually survived going through the wash. So I just wanted to encourage you to try washing them because you don't want to bring home the germs and keep them. Also, I took a turtleneck and I just cut the collar off, and it makes a nice little quick mask to wear. I wanted to give you that idea. If you're thinking about making them, there's a way that you take a t-shirt and just cut off the bottom of the t-shirt, and then you cut the letter D so that part of the t-shirt goes here and the other part goes over your ears, so that you might want to experiment with that. Also, I suggest to everybody, ladies mostly, but men can use scarves that are cowboy type scarves, but you can take anything and wrap it and protect yourself. I think it's really important to have something in your car, in your backpack, at your front door, just everywhere we need extras, because we're going to need them for about 6 months, I think, until we turn into the next 2021 when we might be able to relax a little. But I want to remind everybody, it's so important. The one thing I want to tell you about, not only being sure you have a lot of masks and trying to wash them, I want to remind you that everywhere you go, oh, I forgot to hold it up. Somebody might take your temperature, because we want to make sure you're not coming down with something incubating. And then using these different hand sanitizers. I think what's important, if you're going to buy a new hand sanitizer, if you have the ability to go to a web, thanks, John. Here's what the thermometer looks like. And you might see people standing outside holding this and saying, I want to get your temperature. And they just hold it near you. They're not really touching you. And they're getting your temperature to know that you're not coming down with the virus. Thanks, John. The thing I want to talk to you about the sanitizer is it's on the web. They've been talking about some of these different sanitizers have been recalled. So if you're going to be buying more, double check that what you have is not recalled. I don't know the different reasons for recalling them, but what I do know is you can make your own. If you get a good alcohol that's maybe 90%, and you use 2 parts of that with aloe vera, you can make your own nice, good, safe, antibacterial. So I want to remind you to check the brand that you're buying. Now, the most important thing about these wipes, these are great to go on your steering wheel or on your keyboard of your computer or a cell phone. If your doors, several people walking in from outside, you might want to be wiping things down to be sure that germ isn't coming home with people that have been using a keypad during the day. But the most important thing about these is do not put them in the toilet. You don't want to drop it in the toilet. It doesn't go in the sanitation system, because the way our toilet paper works, it falls apart and dissolves. These don't. They have a certain amount of plastic in them. Don't put them in because cities are finding they're having a problem. These don't go through the pumps that go through the city to take your sewage down to the water treatment. Now, the interesting thing they are finding after water treatment comes out pure, it still has evidence of the COVID virus. So we are finding it's in our wastewater. So it's really important. The most important thing about this virus, and we all want to be normal again, but don't put these in your septic system or your plumbing. That's important. So there are things that we agree on, even though there's a lot of diversity going on where people are trying to understand what's happening with this virus, because from the beginning we've gotten mixed messages. I understand that. Each month I've tried to do a COVID update and educate you and tell you what I learned this recently. And what we know is we can slow it down and take the burden off the hospitals if we will all respect each other and wear a mask. I get frustrated when I see people that say I'm not sick, and I'm not. I haven't been sick and I'm not afraid of getting it. The reality is we have to respect each and every person that we come in contact with that is doing their job, whether they're a service, somebody serving us in a market or in wherever we are, a bank. And so it's really important that we all have masks so that we don't get somewhere and can't take care of the business we want to take care of. So I just want to remind you, find some scarves, some old shirts, cut things up, make your own, but have more than one. And having them made out of old t-shirts is something you can throw in the wash every day. So experiment with that. You can go on the web. Some people know how to find things on the web. I personally am not a good surfer. I don't do well on the internet because I use too many words, or I describe things that confuses Siri and all the search engines. Anyway, The other thing, so I always like to encourage you to get involved in public access. I like to just give you a little bit of an update about COVID. This is the new normal. We're going to do this for a while. We're going to be careful, and we're going to try and make it so that people that work in the industry helping us stay healthy cannot get it and not be overburdened. Because our hospitals in small communities are starting to see an uptick in numbers, and we just want to make sure not only do they have enough PPEs, but that they have enough personnel and enough rooms. So if we can all just slow it down. Okay, also the newspaper is something I like to always talk about. I personally think people often get the newspaper because they want to know about sports, what's going on in baseball and golfing and football. A lot of people have gotten a bird's eye view on sports because they're not going out and sitting in stadiums. And somehow some of the sports are starting to try and keep the sport going. I don't know what's going to happen with COVID in that, because we just have to keep trying and keep trying to protect everybody. Another thing that's been in the paper lately that I think is really important, remote learning is going to cause some problems, because like for me, I could never help my kids with math. And so it's going to be a real boon to people that are tutors. Our technician here has worked with the college tutoring physics and math, and I don't know what all he tutors. But I do know that a lot of people that work in tutoring are going to be helping people that are homeschooling. Because right now, even though the schools may provide a curriculum, students will be learning at home. So you might want to find a way that the neighborhood, there might be a way to study and work together. People that are going back to work, I said this again, one of my shows is about neighborhoods. We need to think about each other as people are trying to go back to work and school is getting delayed starting or trying to be safe. Because not only is it the students, it's the buses that take kids to and from, it's the janitors and people that do maintenance of the schools, it's the teachers, it's the administration. So we all need to be conscious that going back to school has to be safe for everybody. So remote learning is going to cause some problems for people that have to work. So we want to look at our neighbors and our friends and our family and see how we can figure out a safely just manage so many people in our pod. I call it our pod. When I show us all walking, I like to say, here's our pod. This is the people that are our family and friends. And we go out and we walk together and get some exercise. And that's really important for mental health right now. We all really need to take care of ourselves. Getting out and getting a little fresh air is so important, whether we get away to be by ourselves or to take our kids out and wear them out so they'll sleep at night. Taking care of ourselves, I just want to remind you there's some many different tips. One of the most important things, like I kind of go through magazines and I read things and I want to give you positive things, but it's really important that we take time out every day, because so many things are coming at us now that we're home with family and friends and in Zoom meetings and all the ways that we contact people on social media. We need to take time to just really check everything off. I'm not, obviously you can tell I'm not a person that meditates because I can't stay focused, but I do encourage people to take a few minutes and make lists, write on a calendar, but get things that we're carrying around up here. You go to town and you run all your errands, and the whole reason you went in that store was because you were out of paper towels and you forgot them. So we all need to maybe start making lists or remind ourselves what we're there for so that we can be efficient when we're in the store, that we get in and out quickly. And as I mentioned before, the stores are now trying to make people go a certain way. I kind of accidentally have shopped in this market for 45 years and I go the wrong way down the aisle sometimes because it's newly been designated. So anyway, the things that you can do is take time out for yourself, whether you're with your family, your friends. Find time. I mentioned walking. Also find a way to do a little bit of exercise. One of the things I said, it's so important about a schedule. Like you want to have a regular schedule. It helps get through tough times. In the past, you had to be at work or your kids had to be at school, or, you had an appointment you had to keep. Now we have to kind of have schedules at home too, and that'll help us get organized. All of us have been cooking and trying new things, and getting a little softer around the edges, so we're trying to stretch it out. That reminds me, I like to remind everybody, find a corner in the house and put your back up against it to remember to stand up straight. We all forget how much we're doing working curling, so I want to remind you to find a corner, a wall, and go stand next to it, and you'll be amazed at what you have to do to lift that spine. Healthy eating is one of the things we've gotten in the habit over the years because we're lifting weights. Oh, that's what one of this things that I was talking about has getting your body in shape. I love this, that even older people are picking up weights, but you could use a can of Campbell's soup. You don't have to go out and get weights. You could use something that you find in your house just to lift or push, lean against a wall, just something, a little repetition several times a day to just remind your muscles. Some people go to a gym or work out or really do hit the pavement and wear out their shoes. But I want to remind you, one of the most important things when you're shopping, and you don't have to clue in on this, is just to look at more things that are plant-based protein. You know, they talk about nuts and legumes, walnuts. They're talking about, is that, you know, they showed on TV this lady making a smoothie, putting walnuts in it, and I went, oh my gosh, I never thought of that. But it does help hold you till lunch if it has fiber in it. So a lot of people think that cutting out dairy helps. A lot of people think that maybe wheat is the problem. One of the things that some people believe about wheat is that it's not the wheat, because people have eaten wheat for generations, but it's so important that you do choose things that are alive, as close as you can get to the source of when it was raised, and eat it fresh. That's one of the things they say that is so important. Some people do have allergies that now that they're home, they're discovering if they cut out milk, they have less mucus or something, or if they allergic reactions or something, each person has to determine. Wheat, I wanted to mention, I want to get back to that. One of the things we found at the way they harvest wheat in the last 10 years or something, or 20 years, is that they kill the plant so that the harvester can come through much easily and pull those hulls. And so what they were killing the plant with, we might believe might be making us sick. So we're hoping, they're now saying that they're changing and trying different kind of herbicides and ways that they kill the plant. I don't know what the chemical is, so I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I know it used to be they used a lot of glycosates when they were raising plants, and we're not sure if that's in the foods. So we really do feel that our food sources are compromised, and
We know it's in the foods.
we know it's in the foods. I wish I could get a green screen for John, because he does give me good information. We know it's in the foods, and one of the things that it's most in is packaged food. And if you buy a package of food and you can't read the ingredients, think about whether or not you want to buy it again. You may get it home and it might be delicious, but you might look at what the ingredients are and learn to make it yourself. That was what my girlfriend Lynn, I want to talk about my friend Lynn. She likes to talk to people about, why do you feel like you need pancake mix? You know, really, if you're buying flour, and whether or not you want to experiment with different kinds of flour. I've had some disasters. I tried to use almond flour, and it was I tried to use coconut flour. And so you can't just swap out any kind of flour if you want to maybe reduce the intake of flour. But my friend Lynn believes that more and more people, and of course I know I'm singing to the choir, a lot of you people are making things from scratch, but it's just the question you might ask yourself when you're shopping, that some of the foods that have many words you can't pronounce, I can't even pronounce them, I must have eaten them. Anyway, she does some really fun things, my friend Lynn. She lives in Talent. We may have a picture of my friend Lynn. And she does this thing, May the Fork Be With You. I told you about her before. She goes out and she collects silverware from all the different thrift stores, give her silverware, and she makes these May the Fork Be With You that you carry with you in your car. So it kind of looks like an eyeglass case, and she gives these out to people, and some places they use them as a fundraiser, but it says, May the fork be with you. So you carry your own knife, fork, and spoon with you everywhere you go, because every once in a while you may have a fast food and you don't need to accept plastic. So Talent is trying to be single-use plastic. You know, they're totally trying to cut it out. So Talent has some really good things going. It's north of Ashland, and they have a pesticide free now. So all of the people that are doing farming and organic gardening are now pesticide free in Talent. And so they call it a bee population. What do they call it? Welcome bees, welcome pollinators, bee friendly. Oh, I should make a sign that says be friendly. I'm going to tell you about my signs in a minute. But I want to tell you about Lynn because she was working with the Bernie campaign and she had lots of issues that she liked to bring in. And here's some pictures from her yard. We were having a little meeting in her backyard and I tried to film her and I had trouble filming her. I forgot to turn on the sound. So, but she has a wonderful garden and she has right now, currently, every week she likes to meet with people at noon in Talent, and they like to talk about climate change and how important it is. And really, my friend Tim was telling me, he says, the biggest problem right now is awareness. We need to make people more aware of the problem. It's not that people are stupid. They're ignorant because they haven't been exposed to some facts. There's an alternate reality, and it seems like there's two realities going on right now. And it's kind of hard to understand how we have friends that are educated and they accept one alternate reality, and they're not willing maybe even to hear some fun facts. But she says that she meets with this group and they think immediate action on climate's necessary. And we have such an opportunity right now with the decreased traffic and with people staying in. We can make changes in our lives and changes in our future. And possibly if you would go and study about what's happening on the reefs, and it's so important. But the Green New Deal is the only plan put forward to address the crisis of climate catastrophe and the economic inequality at a scale the science has just, I'm reading this wrong. The climate scientists want to have 100% renewable energy for all electrical and also for transportation in 10 years. I know that's like a hopeful scenario, but she has all kinds of information and she does something really fun that she gives out that I wanted to share with you. I want to hold these up, John. She has these, we all are familiar with this. We all grew up playing bingo, and now it's a lottery. A lot of Catholic churches play bingo. That's kind of a joke. It's kind of a joke. But she has these two bingo cards. One says a future to believe in, and one is apocalypse bingo. And some of the different things that she puts on here, she simply wants people to have a discussion and a dialogue and talk to your friends and families and neighbors. And, we're not supposed to be talking to people more than 5 feet across, but maybe on social media. Increased citizens have to have a sense of their own involvement and their commitment. Internet privacy has got to be secure. National transportation. I would like for us to stop making bombs and weapons and making our planet a more toxic place. And I would like for us to make high-speed rail. Just really quick, I want to go over a few of these things that are on here. Healthcare is a human right. Racial justice, prison reform. We need to be doing more behavioral health changes instead of caging people. We need to rehabilitate them. National water standards. This is so important. If you would just go and check for yourself on all the EPA regulations that this administration has reversed, it's really kind of scary that the waters of the world that we need to grow our food, that we need to drink, bathe, and live with is being compromised by some of these EPA regulations that have been reversed. So I'd love for you to do your own search on that. Now I'm running out of time, so I want to talk to you about my signs. One of the things that I think is most important for you to do your civic involvement is to write down these numbers: 202-224-3121. And also the other number, that's to call your senator, your congressman. That takes you right into Washington and they will direct you to your zip code representative. Now the other number was for the White House, if you wanted to call direct to the White House. But one of the things I want to show you, John, that sign that I put up, I'm not sure if you can see all these because I haven't double painted them. I make signs of the times by Therese, that's me, and you might be seeing them around the county in South County. My signs I've put up by the railway, and they keep getting taken. Right now down at Canteraloop, I put up one that says, "Stop, look, and listen." I should have given you a photograph, I didn't. But also, I have a whole series that I do about sweet time, a window in time, and so I put these around. You'll start to see my signs on the back road. But I also had a series that I did about bears. So if you go down to Tinandali Park, no bare feet. That was the sign I put down at Tinandali Park so that people wouldn't put their kids in the water with no bare feet because they would get maybe a fisherman's needle, or what are those hooks might be in the water. So Grin and Bear It was another one I did. And I know I'm running out of time. John's going to flash me. Bear Naked. 2 minutes. So Bear Naked, Bear With Me, Barely Awake, and this one I have in my own front yard to remind me to keep moving, stop wasting time. Anyway, I make these signs and you'll see them at the end of, when you turn on Cantera. I tell people, dusty road up ahead. If you go this way, it's really rutted. The Canteraloop Old Road is rutted. So people that come to town and see it as a fun way to travel, they might be discouraged to see how dusty it is. So I have a sign that says, "Dusty road up ahead, turn left, take I-5 instead." So you might see my signs. At the railroad, they took one and it said, "Train approaching, whistle squealing, stop and avoid that rundown feeling." Somebody liked that sign and they took it. The other thing I want to remind you, when I was giving you the numbers of your congressman and senator, when I watched the Black Lives Matter celebration of life for George Floyd, the whole world was focused on racial injustice, and everybody was able to come to the streets and walk, white brothers with black brothers, and people walking together believing that we need a change. Now, I believe that this administration tried to alter that 4 weeks of peaceful protest with a law and order campaign, that I think they tried to take the attention off the real issues. But when I heard George Floyd's brother speak, he said, "All right, everybody, I don't want you to get angry. I just want you to vote and switch it up." And the minute he said that, I grabbed a pencil and paper and I wrote it down. We need to switch it up. And it's so important for everybody to vote. And when I talk about voting, I also want to remind you, this is really important. They're trying to shorten the census. Used to be that you had a time for a census was like 4 months or something. And when you didn't turn one in, they would go to the house and find out. So I want to encourage you to remember something. Every single person in this country needs to be counted, because your count means the money that your city gets to keep the roads improved, keeps the sewer lines, keeps the garbage collected, the things that are being done that you live and depend on, you need to be counted in so they know how many dollars to allocate. Now, it's really important. Do I have a clip for senior nutrition? Too late, time's up. Okay, really quick about voting. When you vote by mail, you can tear off this number, and this number will have your voting number, and you can call and check and see if your vote was counted. I don't want you to mail your vote. I want you to take it to a polling place, a courthouse, or a county clerk. Let's not put ballots in the mail. I feel strongly we need to be sure our vote is counted. My time is up. The hook is coming to pull me off. Thank you so much for joining me, Therese Swenson. I'm here at the Siskiyou Media Council in Weed, California. Therese Swenson. Thank you.
Solve